Today I'm going to take a look at Dune. I was actually really interested to rewatch it and discover how focused it is. You can really tell that the director, Denis Villeneuve, is a big fan of the books. I feel like it's less of a director putting a spin on the film, but more sort of a director honoring what the books mean to a lot of people. Having said all that, I was looking at a bunch of scenes that I could take a look at. The sequence that I wanted to focus on is actually quite a long sequence, 11:56 minutes long. This is not just one scene, it's a couple of scenes. First of all, we're going to set this up. And this is really important so that we understand what happens later when things go wrong. We first need to see how things work when they go right. First thing that we see is one of those spice harvesters. And it's important to show how they work. The wide shot. So what do we know in this wide shot that's quite long? We learn basically how this whole setup works in terms of transportation. You have this two modules here. You have this floating device that picks up these harvesters, and these harvesters that crawl around the desert and pick up the spice, which is like this really valuable resource that is available on this planet. And it's the most valuable element in the universe because it allows for safe space travel. So this shot is 20 seconds long, and it shows us that these harvesters can get picked up by these carriers, and these carriers have some form of balloons that lift them up. Kind of an important thing to know. Okay, it's being carried into the desert. Boom, done. This part here, these few shots, that's basically just for setup. And nobody's talking, nobody's explaining. We just get to see it. It's pure cinema in the sense that we see what's happening. So let's give this a color. This is yellow for setup. I did listen to Joe Walker, the editor, when he wants to have like fresh eyes on a cut. What he usually does is...
One of the tricks I've been using is black and white and flop the image. This is late stage. If you do this too early, you've blown it too early. But basically, by flopping the image, I make it black and white, your brain takes it a different way and it feels like a fresh viewing. It's a cheat.
Maybe this is something we should try and just watch this whole sequence in black and white. I know, huh? Crazy. Boom, black and white. Copy that, and then I'm going to paste it to all the other shots. This might be interesting for you as well, because if you've seen the movie, then maybe this gives you a different point of view on this scene. Everything is in black and white now. Okay, and just for fun, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the shot. Boom. Let's keep rocking and rolling. White shot. Kind of a hanger. Character reveal, moving in.
Judge of the change, sire. Dr. Liet Kynes.
My Lord Duke. Welcome to Arrakis.
So this is kind of a liaison between the Fremen's and the Imperialists. She kind of keeps track of all the spices that are being harvested. Kind of the accountant for the Emperor to make sure that everything is kosher. So they've just taken over the space. This is the first time. There used to be another house, the Harkonnens, that used to colonize this planet, and they were in charge of harvesting and delivering the spice. This is the new house, the Atreides. They are sort of assessing what's happening, and this is their first trip. The purpose of this scene is twofold. First of all, we're introducing this character.
Welcome to Arrakis.
You're the Imperial ecologist.
Who is going to be with them to take them on the trip. But really what she is the informer. To tell the audience all the rules of this new world. And this scene sets up a couple of rules that we also need to know. We already understand this. But now we need to understand kind of the bigger picture of how the suits work and how they can exist in the desert.
Thank you for the still suits.
They are Fremen make.
Mediums.
The best. With your permission, sire, I must check the integrity of your suit.
She gave them these suits. These are the survival suits that they need. And now she wants to check them.
It's all right. Dr. Kynes, we're in your hands.
Still all medium. Medium shot and medium close-up. Fixes his boots.
Body's movements
White shot.
provide the power. Inside the mask, you'll find a tube to allow you to drink the recycled water.
We don't see the tube. It's interesting.
You've worn a still suit before.
No, this is my first time.
She's like, why? How do you know how to put on this suit? Close up, right?
Your desert boots are fitted slip fashion at the ankles. Who taught you to do that?
Seemed the right way.
Now, interesting, he didn't cut to the boots to show that they're like fitted perfectly, because that's not what the scene is about. Can't read the subtitles, but she says, oh, he's wearing the suit as if he was born in it or something like that.
Now, come and see the spice sands on which your livelihood depends.
So that's the next beat in this whole sequence, in this story beat, or story arc, we might say. And this is kind of an intermediate scene that, again, sets up a lot of information. We understand that Paul, our hero, intuitively knows how the suit works, and she acknowledges as a semi-Fremen, she understands that he might be the one, has come to save them all and protect them. This is kind of a transitionary scene. I'm going to make that green. And that scene is 2 minutes, 1:54. Now we're starting actually the main sequence of this story arc, which is them going out into the desert. And then there are two big beats to that. Beat number one is sort of them again, just learning how this works. It's kind of an establishing shot. Whose point of view is this? It's our hero's point of view, right? We see what he sees, then we see him looking.
What would you do if your ornithopter went down out here?
You wouldn't want to go down out there. It's worm territory.
A little more setup here. It's just ominous. We're in dangerous area here. His reaction to that. Story turn. So this like bodyguard type, Josh Brolin.
Dust cloud. I see it.
That's one of your harvesters.
She explains again what we're seeing. She's going to do a lot of explaining in this scene for us. Now we're seeing the harvester in action. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So she says,
You can see the spice scattered over the surface.
you see the spice. It's a little darker on the surface, so I assume this is the spice here. See a little bit of contrast there. I'm not quite sure what the next line is, but ultimately she says,
If you get a little higher, you'll have a better view.
this is Paul's father, obviously, the Lord of the Atreides. His passion, actually, he doesn't enjoy being a leader. He's just called upon it, and he takes on the challenge. He wanted to be a pilot. So it kind of makes sense for him to be flying this little, I don't know, helicopter. Okay, so we rose up to get a better view of the spice, but we're not really going there anymore. That's done. That's just a setup, or that's just a gimmick so that we get higher to see the next thing.
You see these spotter aircraft looking for worm sign.
Okay, so we have these spotters looking for worms. And what are they looking for?
A sand wave moving toward the crawler. Worms travel deep but get closer to the surface when they attack.
So she just told us what we're looking for, because if we don't know what we're looking for, what's going to happen next is not going to make a whole lot of sense.
If you are patient, we should see one.
Worm always comes.
Always. They're drawn by rhythmic noises.
And then he's going to throw out there and saying,
Why don't we just shield the crawlers?
Shield's a death sentence in the desert. It attracts the worms.
now I find this a little contradictory, because we already know that the crawler attracts the worms. Whenever there's activity, the worms come. And then he says, why don't we use the shield? And then she says, well, the shield will trigger the worms. Well, they're being triggered anyway. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like it's not the right argument. The argument maybe should have been the shields don't do anything against the worms because they're so powerful. And then it'd be totally fine. You'd be even more worried for this crawler. But that's just me. Maybe in the book it's different or the same. You let me know in the comments.
Drives them into a killing frenzy.
These are good close-ups. This is an extreme close-up.
Is that a worm?
So what are we looking for? We're looking for waves in the sand. What are we seeing?
Big one.
So what happens next? What happens when a worm comes towards a crawler? Before we find out what happens when a sandworm gets into a killing frenzy, I want to point out that I analyzed another critical scene of Dune.
Sir, I respect the personal dignity of any man that respects mine.
What does he do?
Hold.
He's disrespecting him. Expectations. The things that happen should be plausible yet surprising. Right now, it's very plausible and it's kind of expected, because for us, we would be offended.
Hold. Thank you, Stilgar, for the gift of your body's moisture.
Oh, that's surprising. You can watch this free bonus scene by clicking the link in the video description. Now, let's get back to the attack of the worm.
Worm sign north and east of you. 3.7 kilometers.
Delta Ajax Niner, this is Spotter 1. Worm sign confirmed.
And this is nice storytelling because we really get to discover what happens there.
So what happens now?
They'll call a carryall to lift the crawler. They'll harvest right up to the last minute.
And then she explains to us what's happening as well. Just in case we don't understand what's happening, she just gives us the exposition as well.
Anybody got a visual on the carryall?
Do we have a visual?
There it is.
There it is. Asking for what we're looking for and then finding it with this kind of tracking shot here. Point of view 2.
There
Somebody
it is.
looking through some goggles. Probably her.
Initiating docking sequence.
Yeah, see? It's her right there. Or looking glass.
Prepare to be airborne in 30 seconds.
Remember at the beginning we were setting up how this works? If we wouldn't have that set up, we would be confused about what's happening right now. We would be learning it as it is happening. Now that we already know what's happening, we have a certain expectation of what's going to happen.
Brace yourselves. Alpha Zero, we're short one point of contact. What is going on? It's one of the anchors.
Now we understand that things went wrong. If this wouldn't have set up right, we might be confused or we would need to spend more time on understanding what's actually happening. Somebody would have to tell us, oh, this thing is supposed to lift this up and carry it away. Saves us a little bit of exposition. So this is the big turning point. This is normal. Change the color here. This is how it's supposed to be. And now things go wrong.
It's one of the anchors. It's dead. Carry on. Unable to proceed. Unable to lift without that anchor.
Kind of have to assume if one of these anchors doesn't lock into it, then the whole thing is out of whack and they can't lift it up. I mean, I would try anyway and see what happens, but it seems like they can't save the crawler. I like quite a bit how we spent more time letting the emergency unfold as opposed to telling us that we're in trouble. It's more the reaction shots here, them experiencing this and they don't quite understand what's happening because they are not watching it this closely or they don't see, they're just hearing this and they're noticing how she reacts by her saying, oh shit.
Any carrier in the sector, please respond. Spotter 1, give us an
And then we're tracking and we're seeing the worm coming closer. And it's really her point of view, which then makes it our point of view of really putting together the pieces, connecting the dots.
How many men on that crawler?
Crew of 21.
Our ships can take 6 each.
It's still 3 short.
We'll find a way.
Very heroic. We're only 3 short. We're gonna make it somehow. It's a little bit of like playing the drama and pushing the drama in a way, but I find it funny.
Our ships can take 6 each.
It's still 3 short.
We'll find a way.
This is Duke Plato and Radiant.
Okay, now we understand he's a good pilot.
Paul, I want you at the back of the Thopter. Guide them in.
Put 7 men each in my ships now.
Uh-oh, he's commanding them to put 7 men in there instead of the 6 that they can carry. Now I'm worried. He's supposed to just stay at the helicopter. But as soon as he puts feet on the ground, he has a connection. And we see that with this shot and the sound. Shot of the spies. Actually, in color, you would see this much better. Bring up the color just for a second here. Normal procedure, if they can't pick up the crawler, they just abandon the crew and the crew gets sacrificed. That's what we're learning in these shots.
We take one step out, they're as good as dead. Besides, we've got to follow the spice. We can't just leave it.
Damn the spice! I want every man off that crawler now!
He's such a benign leader. He worries about the men. He doesn't care about the spice, even though it's invaluable. He's a true, noble leader. I like this shot quite a bit. This is sort of the first sign of the worm, like not just seeing the wave, but you feel like you're almost seeing the worm. So it's a nice introductory of this new creature that we haven't seen in the film yet. I guess the men decide to run away, to run out, and we're sticking with Paul. There's a nice little another layer to the story here. He's obviously not listening to his dad who says stay by the helicopter. He goes towards the men because he feels duty to help them, direct them. And as he's walking there, suddenly we have to tell a new story, another beat of the story, which is his inner turmoil and his connection with the land. So visually, it's different and the sound changes too. This is interesting because this shot right here feels like the same shot as this one, right? This is the same setup. This is the beginning of the shot. So we come in here and then we arrive at this angle. Joe Walker decided to use this angle earlier, then jump back and go in there. So it's kind of a little bit of repetitive action or disjarring, which makes sense and helps us even feel more like he's alert, half in a dream vision state. I think this is a really nice choice that Joe Walker sort of discovered in the editing and made sense to him, and then probably left it like this. It could even be that this shot right here, that is also the same setup that was one continuous moving into this. So this is the beginning of the setup right here. And then this is the end of the setup. Joe might have just intercut this repetitive moment here to break that up and make it really more dreamy, creating a different rhythm for the scene that's not linear, has a different phrase. Starts hearing voices. Oh, so they're just gonna drop some weight so that they can put on an extra man. Just telling us that visually. Oh, he's gonna leave. Oh my god, he's gonna leave. But then Josh Brolin tells them Paul is left behind.
I recognize your footsteps, old man.
That's an interesting jump cut. Look at this jump cut here. Boom, boom. They cut out the middle part from him being like this, and then we would see Josh Brolin approaching in the background. He's already there, which again helps with the idea that he's not quite present. He's taken up by these visions.
I recognize your footsteps, old man.
And now he's being pulled back into the present, and the sound helps with that as well. That's a nice reference shot. We know now Worm is really close. Look at Josh Brolin running. He's having a hard time with the suit, I think. They're so close, the worm is so close, that the sand underneath their feet and hands is just slipping away. It's like quicksand. They're stuck. Even the crawler, that's big ass, sinking into the sand. But who would have thought they make it in time?
Bless the Maker and his water. Bless the coming and going of him. May his passage cleanse the world and keep the world for his people.
Did she say he's the cleanser of water? I mean, I think she's talking about the worm, right? That he's the protector of the planet and the native people. Great. This is the first time we really see part of the worm. We still don't see the full worm, but we see the mouth. And the scene is over. So this part here, up to here, that's all the danger part. We got total from here to here, that's all set up. That is 6:30. 3:52 of just sort of showing us the status quo of how things usually work. Then 5:30 of like pure action and conflict. As I said many times before, story should be plausible yet surprising. Everything makes sense because we understand the rules as we're entering this world. It's like very much a play-by-play that our associate is giving us. Then we can immediately translate into this dangerous situation where they have to save the crew. It's a pretty straightforward scene. It's very clean, I think. We always understand whose point of view it is. We understand what's happening. It gives us the necessary exposition, and it allows for something deeper to happen. It's not just the action on the surface, but there's more meaning to it in the sense that Paul, he's coming into his own and figuring out who he is and what his purpose in life is, his mission on this planet. That there's a connection between him and everything around him in this planet, including the worm. I personally pick these movies when I'm excited about something. I'm interested to learn specifics about a scene to ultimately become a better editor myself. And part of becoming a better editor, number one, is to just edit, to just do things, cut things, and experience editing yourself, but also reflect on it. Look at great work and things that we like. We all have great tastes in a way. I mean, there are certain movies the majority really enjoys in a way that it's lasting. To understand why that is gets us a little bit closer in becoming better storytellers ourselves. It's just step one, to understand it. To apply it is a whole different story. Just to edit. Thanks and happy editing. Cheers.